You're live. Okay. For some reason, YouTube moved things around in the display here, so my counter is microscopic and not where I'm used to looking at it. Although I usually ignore it because my videos run super long. And for once, I think I can promise this video will be shorter. Hardly anybody's watched the previous installment, and I had done the similar content, but not the same content. The Boot Talk episode 314 only got 8 views and none of them very long. And the previous episode of this was 311. So if you want to see weeks 3 and 4, you can go back and watch that soon. Or watch it instead of this, I guess. I don't know, because they're totally different boots. This week is technically not over yet. Obviously, it's early on Thursday, but chances are if I wear a pair of boots today and tomorrow and even Saturday, it'll probably be one of the same 3 that are here. So if any significant change happens, I'll be sure to update that. I put away a couple pairs of things that I was wearing, like the Grant Stone Forest Kudu, and I still have out the Truman green cap toes, but I haven't. I'm not wearing them. So week 4 ended on Saturday, at which I wore the Maverick cowboy boots that I'm not going to show them this time because I only wore them for like 2 hours or something, so they don't show any significant wear. Same as these Ariat rough stocks I wore for like 2 minutes last night because it was raining, so they don't show any significant wear either. Both of those, of course, will be featured more in the final wrap-up. So on the Saturday day, though, I think it was week 4, not week 5. Gets a little. I keep track, but sometimes I forget to write one down. But I think it was that Saturday that I did end up wearing the OT boots from JK, and also for maybe half the day or whatever. And after wearing the Oliver Cabell and the Grant Stone, I found the fit of these actually much better than I remembered after I had kind of shelved them the last time. So that was kind of a pleasant surprise, although I think I tied them a little too tight, and these might have been the ones that bruised my toenail, but it also could have been the cowboy boots, which again I didn't wear for very long, and I have worn before, but I was having real trouble getting those off that night. Because when I first put them on, I just had on regular socks, not quite tube socks, but similar thickness as typical socks that you get at Target, not any work socks or hiking socks or anything. And I felt like I was just sliding around in them like crazy, so I said, okay, that won't do. I went back in and I got my little heavier weight ones that I think came from Walmart, but they're the same thing but thicker, and they felt great. And I wore them, and I went out and could not get I pulled a muscle almost in my left arm getting the left one off, and the right one I had to do the thing where you're kicking the floor and trying to use the carpet to pull it and all that. It was, I don't know what happened there. My feet were really swelled up in them. With those thicker socks, just did not want to budge that second boot. So that was again, that was the end of week 4, though. That wasn't technically week 5 yet, I don't think. So a little adventure that missed an episode almost. So week 5, again, I don't remember if I wore these or not. I'll show them a little bit. I mean, again, they don't show any much wear in half a day. Like I said, I wasn't doing anything demanding in them. I just ended up throwing them on because they were there. Like I said, I'll show them in more depth when we do the final episode. In 2 weeks, if we make it that far, I probably won't pull the plug a week early. Next week, week 7, we'll see. I don't know. It kind of depends on the weather because it got extremely warm the last couple weeks until like 2 days ago. So how much I'm going to keep wearing warm boots, I don't know, because the day I wore boots was Monday 2 weeks ago. I wore these on Sunday and Monday, but Sunday's not technically part of the challenge. But I still ended up wearing them one night, which was that not Sunday this week, but Sunday the week before. And then the next day, Monday, I wore these quite a bit, and it was like 90. It was like way hotter than it was supposed to be or something on Monday. And I didn't even end up going hiking. I just sat around for half an hour sweating and miserable. But the boots weren't too much of a terrible deciding factor because mostly I was driving, so it wasn't like I was, walking 10 miles in heavy leather boots when I could have been wearing jungle boots instead or whatever. But I have been hiking in these in pretty warm weather before, so it's not that big of a deal. But anyway, so these, of course, I got used. So most of this beat up looking stuff was already done to them before I ever got them. So again, they don't show that much use. These are a little bit big on me, but once I'm in them, they're kind of fine. They're kind of collapsed, so I made a plastic retainer out of an old juice bottle to kind of hold its shape. The guy had recommended doing this with a 2-liter bottle, but I didn't have any 2-liter bottles lying around, so I figured this will work pretty good for just general storage, on the shelf to keep the shaft up, but it's not reinforced down here. And so these are the Hawthorne edition, though. You can see they kind of turned brown more than black, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to restore that or if I'll bother, but they're nowhere near necessarily requiring a rebuild yet, even though, like I said, they are a little big. I don't know if I could size them down a little bit in a rebuild, but the outsole still has plenty of traction left on both of them. So it'll be a while before I need to send them in anywhere and debate what to do with them. And what did I spend on these? Like $120 or something. So it was like less than a price of some other inferior things that I've gotten. Again, so the quality is, pretty much there. It's just the sizing issue. Again, I wouldn't know necessarily what size to order or what to trust. They don't have the exact same height and arch support as the more expensive ones, like the Nicks, the Builder Pros that I got. I've shown them in comparison before. You can see the heel is a little bit different. If I can stop being so seasick there. And of course you can't see under my hand, but you can kind of see the curvature of that maybe a little bit better than it. There's like no real, you can't really see the curvature here. There's a little bit, so I think there's a bit less arch support, but you can definitely feel the arch support in them. But so again, I wore those for like a day and a half or whatever. Not a lot, because then it, like I said, it heated right up, and I was wearing sneakers the next day or whatever. A little bit, trying to get a little bit of use out of some of my other non-boot shoes too. And then, so then the next day I switched to the Wolverine Blvd, and I think I wore these for 3 days. Now these, I put the shoe trees back in them, so give me a second to take that out because it'll be a little easier to hold them up and show them around. These I had gotten a couple years ago, and I had left them in the box neglected while I wore other boots. These are really long in the toe. Like my toe is somewhere way back here. I don't think these are the ones that bruised my toenail, but maybe on the one foot, because I hadn't worn these in so long. But once I got them on, that extra long thing, didn't notice it at all. It just wore just fine. They're pretty comfortable. I don't know if I consider them as comfortable as the other Wolverine ones, the 1,000 miles. And they're meant to be a little bit more of a dressy shoe than a totally utility shoe. But you can see where the with minimal wear of these, they're really showing a lot more kind of weird creasing and stuff. Not necessarily weird in the you know, bad sense, but weird in the kind of unexpected sense. Like I didn't expect after like a week total of using these that they would have so much character. And I've debated if I'm going to condition them pretty soon. I think the tongues need it more than anything else. The tongues feel a little bit kind of hard and stiff in some spots, but they've taken you know, the channels for and made channels for the laces pretty well. So the laces don't really come untied or anything. They do have the lining inside, and the leather, I assume, well, it's foam on the top, but I don't know what's underneath, leather board footbed or something. I don't know, whatever. And a little bit of creasing and stuff here where I'm worried that this could develop a hole if it gets too dry, where it wants to flex a lot, where again my foot and my toe are not quite going out as far as they could. This is a lot of wasted extra space up here that, again, if I got these re-sold, may advise how to trim that, or, you know, reshape that slightly without making it too narrow or making it too short or whatever. But they're definitely too long. But again, nothing that I notice while I'm wearing them. And they did get a little bit of a crease back here, and that's partly from where the shoe trees don't sit flush far enough in. I'm trying. They kind of grab in this area where it's getting weak and doing this mostly effectively, like 80% ish, you know, to keep it from creasing too bad. So I'm definitely using the shoe trees with this particular boots more than some of the other ones that I had put them in before and then took them out because it was just silly, like the Thursday President, where it had mostly just felt like it damaged the foam of the footbed and didn't contour to my foot anymore. This one I can feel the contour that I assume is from my foot, even in this short time, but it's, again, the foam kind of wearing down. So here's the other one. I don't know if, you know, but like I said, getting a lot of this kind of, you know, deep groove that I'm not used to, kind of really. And the shoe tree does nothing, of course, to fix or do anything with that. Same as what I've done here. But yeah, this initial creasing, more or less in the right place, not exactly in the right place. Like the Thursday Captains, I think, creased a little bit better, but they've changed that last since, and blah blah blah, and well into the nope. What am I doing here? Oh, sorry, internet maintenance. But like I said, the laces are doing pretty good. The tongues are doing pretty good. They're not gusseted or anything. They're just a free flowing tongue, but they're not sliding off to the sides like the Grant Stone tongues. Those have been kind of the worst so far for doing what they're supposed to do. But I also bought those in a wider width, so they're a little bit too wide. But the narrow ones, or the regular standard D ones, were too narrow. And so you got the 2 speed hooks. I haven't been lacing all the way to the top. I've only been using the 1 speed hook. So there's that. And a little bit of scuffing, but most of the, like I said, stuff going on here is just from walking and rubbing on pants or jeans. So there's a lot of this lighter color showing through when they crease, but not from any significant treatment or anything. That's just from walking. So there you go. I'm not using those as work boots like I might with the 1,000-mile ones, but the 1,000-mile ones, I didn't really get them to be work boots either. I call them both service boots, even if you have some other definition of service boot, whatever that means. It's kind of 6-inch and heritagey World War II-y kind of thing like this. The Grant Stones, the Thursdays, the almost all those boots I'm going to call a service boot. So that brings us basically to the last pair. Like I said, we're kind of getting, like I said, I didn't show the cowboy boots because I barely put them on and took them off to do one chore. And so not on the official list. So if we go back through the official list, we got the Oliver Cabell service boots, which I did wear. The Caswell Chukka boots, which I did not wear. The Boulevard that we just talked about. The Ariat Rambler, which I did wear a little bit, but not a ton. The Ariat Rough Stock, which was these, which again, 2 minutes. Didn't wear that this week. The NYX Handmade Packer, those have been completely neglected. I might have to throw those in. Maybe this week, now that I'm saying this. So it's going to be bumped off this list perhaps, but we'll definitely be this week or next week. I'll definitely try and wear those finally. Even though it's a little warm for 10-inch boots, like I said, most days lately. Grant Stone, Forest Kudu, like I said, I already shelved those. Thursday, Captain Capto, like I said, I already shelved those. Well, I didn't necessarily say it in this video, but those were shelved several weeks ago after week 1, or I think it was. I don't know if I wore those in week 2 at all. Doesn't look like it. So yeah, week 1 I wore the Captains, and then decided to start wearing the Oliver Cabell instead, which again fit better than I remembered. And so the boots that I've been wearing this week, like exclusively for like 3 days in a row, just out of nowhere, again, not on this list. They were on the alternates list, but it's the Response Gear tactical or combat boot, but they're the nylon, not the jungle boot, because these are the insulated ones. But same kind of principle as the jungle boot, except with a side zipper, which again, I don't care for the side zippers if I'm actually going hiking, because they can fail on you in the worst possible places. But I have like 3 pairs of these in black or something, so I need to use them up. And I have a couple pairs in the tan also. And I have some similar ones in green that I was going to try and wear because St. Patrick's Day or whatever, but that didn't end up happening because I said, well, let's just use the cheap ones instead, and because those are the Reebok ones or whatever. And so, okay, fine, black it was. And significant wear in only 3 days, but they have been worn before and all that, and they're not quite 8 inches. Maybe they're a little bit shy of 8 inches, I think, but they're around 8 inches. One of the pairs I have are not this brand. I just said 3 pairs, but technically they are 9-inch ones or something, and they're a different company, but they both came from Big 5 or something, so it doesn't matter. Same basic thing. Just saving those for a rainy day because, again, I typically like the taller boots if I'm doing actual stuff, just to have more coverage, snake protection, whatever, you know. So there's that Response Gear tactical footwear, and this one looks the same, but the other side. And the original laces, I haven't changed the laces. They do have the little lace through feature there, which I don't know if that does any good or not, but the tongues are half gusseted to about there. So there's that. And the outsoles on these are not really worn out at all, as you can see. And they're not as comfortable on asphalt as I'd like. The arch is in slightly the wrong place because I have 2 pairs that are not the exact same size, so the one fits a little better. So naturally, these don't fit as nice, and they don't feel as comfortable on asphalt as they do on dirt. But I haven't been doing dirt lately. I've just been doing these. But it didn't rain. I wore them anyway, and didn't rain until evening. So, but they're not waterproof, but with the nylon, I imagine they're somewhat water repellent. Of course, I have those other more rain repellent boots, the Keen ones that I didn't end up wearing at all, and the Wolverine ones and some other ones. But these would have worked if it rained probably decent we were supposed to get. Then we actually got more, but again, it didn't come till later, so it didn't matter because my feet didn't get wet. So again, if I'm wearing any boots tomorrow or today, now that it's tomorrow, whatever, it'll probably be these or these. So no big surprise. These are the two boots that are getting used. And if something really, really, really mysterious happens, then, you know, it might be these or these instead. So that's about all I've got for you now. I went on about 5 minutes longer than necessary. Oh, and of course I could always wear Western boots. These are the Maverick ones at some point. Probably not the new Dan Post ones yet. I don't expect to be wearing very much black clothing. So if I'm wearing cowboy boots, it'll be ones because those are more of a reddish tan. Okay, so as always, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. I like to answer questions. Mostly I get weird comments or no comments. So questions would be unique and interesting. Like I said, you know, I don't bother doing, you know, cleaning and maintenance kind of videos. Like most of my boots, they're not getting super filthy. And if they are, I'm just spraying them off with the hose and coming back to them later, see how they are. Because I live in a pretty dry climate. I don't have a lot of muddy encounters and things like that. Too much to really worry about it. And as always, I did activate the buy me a coffee or pizza, if you prefer, app thing. So if you want to help endorse this channel and help me get stock of items sometime in the future, go to In-N-Out. I don't know. Feel free to do that. And of course, I have to always say boycott Tinder. I just did another long video about that nobody's watched. Dating sites might be a scam. I'm pretty sure that they could be. I'm pretty sure they have toxic employees in their culture that probably don't deserve their jobs, or at least the amount of pay they get for their jobs. So I'm beating a dead horse maybe, but try to spread the word. And we'll have more hat content soon. I have 2 more hat videos, maybe 3. So for those of you who tune in mostly for boots, well, you haven't been tuning in lately, so I'm going to be focusing more on hats for the near future, but I'm still going to be doing boot talks as they warrant, and of course the finale of this update. But I don't have any new boots coming in yet. If you're expecting another unboxing, not anytime soon. I have tons of boots that I haven't worn. That's kind of the whole point of this challenge, is to wear stuff that's been neglected or I haven't worn in a while. Don't remember how it feels, how it fits. Needs a little bit of wear and tear to look cool, whatever. Kind of like those Boulevard ones. But yeah, some of them I'm definitely, you know, wear them, use them up kind of thing. Others are meant to be durable and last, and so we want to show that process as much as possible. And it's hard to do that when you don't wear them enough, because again, people would rather see a video about that and this, I think, if I could wear them more. But you know, I still have tons of stuff like this lying around that I want to use too, because I'm not always in the mood to, again, have 10 inches of heavy duty leather strapped on when it's 90 degrees out and all that, unfortunately. As much as I want to wear them, in those conditions, I don't really want to wear them unless I have to. And same with cowboy boots. I don't wear them that much when it gets warm because I'm not wearing pants. Some cowboy boots I'll wear with shorts. I'm not that vain, but not these. The heels are way too high. So you can go back and watch I just did a video on, like I said, boot talk, and talked about that kind of thing. So won't go all into it here. But I might have forgotten something. If you watch that and go, hey, you still didn't mention this, great, bring it up in those comments or those comments. You know, ask me those kind of questions, if you know, or point out my, hey, you totally, you know, missed the boat on this. You know, I'm here to learn too, I guess.